A general flow of what happens when people come in the studio, just to my right, to stage right. Come in, hello, how's it going? Great, welcome. Oh, lovely to see you. Put your bag down, change your shoes, get ready for your session, fitting or coaching. Usually people ask where the washroom is, and then once they're ready to hit, I generally ask, like, what golf ball do you play, so that I can choose a golf ball from our cabinet, place on the ground so they can warm up, and we can keep it consistent so I know what their ball flight actually would be doing in a real situation. Number 1 and 2 answer I get, 1 is, I don't know, I'm not picky, I just use whatever. That's a bit of a problem. The second answer I often get is, I use such and such a ball because it's good off the driver. You hear this when you're over there a lot?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I use this ball, I find it's a little better for me off the driver. And what I generally say is, okay, let's see how this goes, but I probably don't really want you to choose a golf ball based on what it does off the driver, and I kind of want to show you why that would be. Because in my experience, with a modern, well-constructed multi-piece golf ball, the driver seems to be the part of the bag where the ball actually separates the least. So different golf balls separate the least in spin off the driver. And that's been my experience, but I kind of want to go through the bag. I got a gap wedge, a 7-iron, a 5-wood, and a driver, and start to see where those differences pop up and when does it start to taper off. The 2 balls of choice, a Pro V1X, quite a spinny ball, and a left dash Pro V1X, the opposite. Not a spinny ball at all. A couple 50-degree wedges, and let's look at some numbers. Okay, just under 10,000. Struck that pretty well. Pro V1X, which spins more. It does indeed. 600 more? Something like that? Very similar launch angle. Very similar launch angle. Sometimes when you have 2 balls that are very different in like compression, so one's really soft, one's really firm, sometimes you see the launch angle change. These are actually pretty close. They're both pretty firm balls. Low spin ball again. Okay, so that I hit about a groove lower. So I expected that to spin more. That's still less spin than I got from kind of the normal strike from the standard Pro V1X. Let's hit one more. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so both those strikes felt pretty similar. The first 2 felt pretty similar. Those last 2 were probably half a groove low, so they spun more. Yeah, I think something around 600 RPMs, let's just say at my speed, the way I deliver a wedge. Not a huge difference in the wedge. I think that's probably more of a compliment to that left dash, that they've kind of improved the wedge performance. But I'm not seeing a massive, massive disparity between the 2, which is kind of good. I probably wouldn't tell someone to pick a ball solely based on full swing wedges anyway. So 7-iron next, let's see how much they split. So 7-iron, yeah, so this, in my experience, is where we see a bigger difference. I'm going to hit the left dash first, low spin ball first. Nice. Oh. Almost went in. So just under 6,000 spin. That's why that's a ball that I could actually, given my current way of swinging, which is a little bit on the I hit the ball to the moon side, I could probably play that ball because I don't need any more spin than that. A lot of people, I'll say this, allow me to interlude right now. How dare you interrupt me. A lot of people could spin the ball at 5,900 and be very happy. So happy, they would be shocked at how they could sleep at night without thinking about how they should spin the ball at 7,000 because they saw Scotty Scheffler do it in a Titleist video. As long as you hit the ball somewhat high, your descending angle is at least 45 or something around there. 6,000 is a lot of spin. Most people do not need to worry about spinning it more than that unless they play very, very firm, fast greens. Or they play on the PGA Tour. Okay, higher spin ball, Pro V1X. Hit it pretty, jeez, okay. Now, in fairness, the face was a tiny bit open, so I'll say maybe on a dead square strike, that would be just under 7,000, but it's a hell of a lot more spin.
If somebody wants to get similar results, but they don't want to spend $70 on a dozen balls,
yes,
is there something?
It's a fine question. Price-wise, my choices for good deal. Honestly, usually I recommend, you've heard me say this a million times, Srixon balls, no? I'm not picking on them, but I don't think anyone's ever paid full price for a Srixon ball. They seem to be perpetually on sale. A good low spin option to emulate the left dash, Pro V1X, would be a Srixon Z-Star XV. Pretty similar spin profile. And then if you want the spinnier ball, it would be the either the Z-Star standard ball or the Diamond ball is even spinnier. So those are good. Honestly, usually you can get them, if these are like 70 bucks Canadian for Pro V1s, usually you can get a box of Z-Stars for like 40-ish. Usually you have to buy like 2-for-1 type of deal to get them around 40. It's a good deal. Let's get into the clubs that, I mean, frankly, people worry more about these clubs when it comes to like ball flight. They're, as I said, losing sleep over a few hundred RPMs off the driver. Let's look at what happens as the club gets longer. I don't know if I've ever really tested a fairway wood with different balls. Okay, that's good. Wanted to make sure I didn't have one that was drawing too much. Okay, interesting. Yeah, slightly. Kind of more than I expected. Now, this is the part where you have to be careful because like a couple millimeters low, high, toe, heel will change the spin rate on a 5-wood or a driver. You will start to see really big fluctuations in spin rate just from strike. So I'm doing my best. I hit a bunch and we deleted a few and tried to hit again just to make sure you get a couple good shots that are at least almost exactly the same on strike. Because a lot of people are making the mistake of going, oh, this ball spins too much or it spins too little, and then they're not looking at their strike point on their driver, which is probably really low in the face or in the heel. And no ball is going to fix that. No ball is going to fix a driver that produces too much spin or a strike point that produces too much spin. You can mitigate it a bit, but it's not going to make enough of a difference. Driver, lower spin ball. Let's go. That is pretty much my normal ball flight when I strike one well. Strike felt good. 11 lunge, 2,500, yes. Pushed it. So for example, that is not a shot to assess the ball with. People often will look at that and go, okay, it spun more. It's like, yes, the previous shot was a draw. That shot was a slight push and a fade. It should spin more. That is not anything to do with the ball as far as I can tell. That I think will be a better one to, yeah, there you go. It's so similar. What was the other one, like within 50? 24. Yeah. I swear I didn't make this video just to prove myself right, but it's just, in my experience, it's just such a low priority in terms of picking a ball is like driver performance. Now, these two balls are the same-ish, call it compression. They're both fairly firm. I also frequently hear people picking a ball based on trying to get a few more miles an hour out of a driver. I can tell you pretty honestly, it's not really worth you doing because even at my speed, a really soft compression ball and a really firm compression ball, I might see 2 or 3 miles an hour. It's not much. So if that softer ball is better for you in basically every other way, I don't know that I would try to be chasing what is maybe not even more than 1% of ball speed, 1%, and that's on like a perfect strike based on compression. And then on spin rate, I mean, I could sit here and hit 1,000,000 balls, but those two drives are almost exactly the same in terms of the flight and the strike location and the face angle. And as you can see, it doesn't really make much of a difference. I was a little bit surprised on the 5-wood. There's a tiny bit of difference there, but it seems like it peaks around the mid-iron. It starts to fall off once you get into the longer clubs, and then by the time you get to the driver, I just don't think you should pick a ball based on driver performance. If you were spinning this too much, I would loft this down on my settings. If I was getting fit for a driver, I'd go with a lower spin option. But the ball off the driver, I would say it should fit the rest of your game. It's not going to make that much of a difference on the driver.